Hello, everyone, and welcome to our weekly live chat, Ask a Writing Coach. I'm Beth Barani, your host. I am a novelist and writing coach. And with me here today is my guest, Tracy Garner. And we're going to talk about how to do live events to launch your book. And our main focus is for creative writers, fiction writers, novelists. We're both novelists. And I'll just tell you a little bit about me, and I'm going to have Tracy tell you more about her. I'm the award-winning author of the young adult adventure series, Henrietta the Dragon Slayer. I have 2 books out so far in this series. Henrietta and the Dragon Stone is book 2. Book 3 is coming soon. I also write nonfiction for authors, and Twitter for Authors is my latest nonfiction book for authors, helping shy writers learn how to promote on social media. I'm also a romance author, and my latest book is A Cupcake Christmas, a short novel or a long novella, and I'm having a party to celebrate it this Saturday. I'll share a little bit about that later. Speaking of events to promote books. So Tracy, I'm so glad that you reached out to me. I think we met on Twitter, and I see that you are a novelist and you also love putting on events. And so tell us more about who you are and so people can get to know you.
Sure. So my name's Tracy Lydia Garner. I write under my full name. I've written romantic suspense for 15 years. My first book was in the All That and Then Some anthology. It says at the bottom, 4 writers in their 20s offer stories about life and love. And that was a contest hosted by BET Books. BET Books is no longer in print. It was bought by Viacom, but they still have a publishing house that they have, and they still put out lots of great books every month. So I won that when I was 23, and I've been writing ever since. And after that, I have 5 books total. The one Who Holds My Heart, the really cute guy on the cover.
Oh yeah, show him off.
And Come What May, and I've written Love Unchosen. Only Love Unchosen and Anchored Hearts are available right now. And the first 3 books that I've written are out of print, but I will be reproducing those soon. I found someone who's going to help me reproduce them. So I'm working on that. And I'm also working on the sequel to Anchored Hearts. But I've just been writing forever. Writing helped me cope with my disability. I have muscular dystrophy, and I use a wheelchair. And writing was the only outlet that let me kind of share my voice and be seen first, and not be judged by my physical appearance as far as getting around, because I have mobility issues. But I love writing, and I love event planning. I've been planning events forever for my church. I used to be in charge of my singles ministry and doing all kinds of things. So it's just been so much fun, and everybody that comes says how wonderful they are and have a great time. And I'm planning 3 events this year. My 40th birthday party, a huge event. I'm hoping to have the sequel to Anchored Hearts out by then, in conjunction with my 40th birthday party. And then just a couple other things that I'm doing, but I had a really great launch party back in March 2015 for Anchored Hearts. I had 100 people attend. So
wow,
awesome.
Yeah, oh, that's so great. Be sure, go ahead, Tracy, and put in the chat your link to your website so people can find you as we're talking. That's so great. So, you know, live events in this day and age of online social media and things like that, why would someone want to put on a live event as an author?
So I think that with social media, I feel like some of the live events have gotten kind of put to the side, just kind of like snail mail. Snail mail is just no longer done. Live events aren't done. The book signings aren't done as much, but you're missing a huge market of people that want to come out and meet you, and a chance to celebrate, really. I mean, that's really why you should have the live event, is to celebrate your accomplishment and to meet people face to face. And I think those are the best reasons. There are people that are going to come to your live event that aren't on social media. And you don't want to miss that opportunity to share and to tell people. And the other thing is that you can send out a press release or some press information about your live event, and then you'll get even more people that you might not have known existed or you might not have heard about coming to your live event, because it's a local thing. You're celebrating that you're a local author, And it's just an opportunity to really meet people. And also for some people, step outside their comfort zone. Writing is a very singular and solitary thing. So you definitely want to meet people and get that persona going, that public persona.
Absolutely. That's really great. I'm with you with, you know, it's really great to get out of the house and go and do something different. So I'm sure people will have questions about events, and I just want to remind everyone that Tracy and I are also giving away a prize each. I'm going to give away, I'm going to give away Twitter for Authors, the digital edition of Social Media Book Marketing Strategies for Shy Writers, or a digital edition of my latest romance, Cupcake Christmas. And Tracy, what are you giving away?
I'm giving away a $15 gift card to Amazon. Nice. So that's what I'm giving away at the end of the
right.
Okay.
Great. And so how do you enter? Oops, we've got some echo over there. Do you hear that, Tracy?
No, I don't hear it.
Nope. No, do you guys hear this echo? Okay, good. Weird tech issue. So how do you enter?
How do you enter for the Amazon?
Well, I want to tell people how they enter. If you want to win a prize, you ask a question.
Yes.
And to either, go ahead, Tracy.
We'll pick someone randomly from the question. Yes.
Yes. At the end, I'll have you pick some numbers based on the people who are here. So you must be present to win, just because this is a very spontaneous event. Okay. Yes, I hear an echo too. I'm not sure why.
I don't hear an echo, but I'm going to turn my. Can you still hear me? Okay.
I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Okay.
But I hear me echoing.
Okay.
somebody might have
two windows like open. Jewelry or something, like something sliding or something. That's all I hear, really.
I think I have everything closed. Oh, sorry, you guys. Once in a while, we have these weird tech issues. Just a reminder, beta, Blab is in beta. You know what, Tracy? I'm going to just step out for a second. Don't go, but I'm going to, oh, maybe it went away. Hey, do you guys hear it anymore? It's gone. Yay. I sound better. Yay. No, I still hear it. So I'm going to just jump out for a second. Just stay here, and I'll jump back in.
Okay.
We'll see if that has anything to do with it. 1 second. Yeah, the echo comes and goes. Okay. Just
stay here. Do you want me to keep talking, or do you want to?
Yeah, talk amongst yourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just going to step out of the video feed for a second.
Okay. Well, what I was going to say is that, you know, sometimes people have a lot of anxiety about events, and that's okay. I think that if you plan really well and you kind of, you know, if you try to plan as much as you can and you just let it go at the end, things will work out. So, you know, I really think that people think that things have to be so elaborate and so big, when even 15 to 20 people is still a little great gathering. You can order, you know, just some chicken wings from Pizza Hut, take them out of the cardboard box, of course, and try to make things just really a fun, interactive thing where you talk about your book. You might do a reading. You might have music. I have a playlist always on my phone. You can also use Pandora. And just really have a really fun atmosphere, almost like a book signing, but just more fun because you may be in a closed setting, you may be able to play your own music, and people will be able to talk and mix and mingle amongst themselves. So that's really all, you know, the live event should be. I mean, you can do more if you want to, but you don't have to. You shouldn't feel pressured. It's really just a gathering and a good time to talk and get to know people and tell people about your writing journey, because people really are interested. They're interested and in doing things. Definitely, you can plan an event, Carol Ann, on a budget as small as $50 to $100. Events do not have to cost a lot. I had my event at a hotel. It did cost a little bit more, but I've had smaller events like at my house, at the library, and then sometimes you can find someone to host something, particularly people that are in sororities and in nonprofit organizations. Think about all the things that are in your book. Do you talk about a certain group? Do you highlight different organizations? Those people would love to host an event for you, and you can do a partnership where even maybe say, you know, a few of the proceeds just for that one event go to that organization. So, you know, you want to be careful. You want to make sure everybody's outlined on what they're doing, but you want to find a way to partner. A local restaurant has a small room, a new business that's opening may want to host something, could host something at a cupcake or a shop or bakery. Ask one of your friends who may play guitar to play some music for you. Could you use a group like a readers group? Yeah, you could definitely use a book club or a readers group. You know, just make sure that you know what the expectations are. Like I always urge people to know, what are you doing? Why are you doing this event before you start?
Yeah.
Don't put the pressure on of having to sell books. You can sell books, that's fine. If you only sell a few, it's okay. But you're more letting people know, I'm a writer, this is my book, and I want to celebrate my accomplishment.
That's great. That's so wonderful. Oh, there comes the echo. Uh-oh. Let's see if we can just try and move through it.
Okay.
How much time in advance do you generally plan your events?
So I want to make a disclaimer. Remember, I love events. So I take the pressure off myself. I planned my event a whole year in advance. So if you love them, you'll enjoy planning them all the time and thinking about them all the time, even at work and everywhere you go, you'll be thinking about your event. If you don't love them, I think it's important, maybe ask a friend to help. But the more time you have to plan and the more you think about it, the less pressure and the less stress that you'll have. So don't try to just throw something together. It's fine if that works for you and you're okay with the results of a thrown together affair. But if you're a little more on the, you know, on like wanting everything to go well and wanting everything to have a certain look, then you really should take time to plan an event, to plan it out and plan what you want to do. I have 5 things that you want to think about. You want to think about the purpose, like I said, just to celebrate and have a great time. If you want to attach a number to the number of books you want to sell, that's okay. But if you don't make that goal, you know, that's more heartache. So, you know, just be careful about that. The venue, you want to make sure that it's a great place, it's an accessible place. And that by that, I mean, choose a place that's, you know, that people want to go to, not something that's out of the way, hard to find, maybe has free parking. I would never have an event and ask people to pay to park unless it was like my birthday or something. Lots of free parking at the hotels is always a good option, or metro accessible or bus accessible. Like I chose to have I live in a different county than a lot of my friends. Some of my friends have disabilities. I made sure I had it in a place where the paratransit, it's a curb to curb bus, could get to them and get them to the venue, because the public transit, paratransit doesn't come to my area. So, because I drive, so I was okay with hosting in a place. I thought about who was coming and who I wanted to come, so I made it accessible to them. The other thing
that's great.
is content. Just what are you going to do? You have all these people coming. What are you going to do? I actually did a play for my book launch party. My friend from church, my cousin, who's really good looking, and somebody that I found on Facebook. We were strangers. I did not know her, but she is actually studying acting and film for real. Like she really wants to do that full time. And I said, would you come? You look perfect for my main heroine. Would you come and, you know, read the script and do it for my large event, for my event, my local event. So these 3 people, I wrote a script. Basically, I took my book and I took out all the description and just kept the dialogue. And that was the script. So that was so easy. And they did like a 30-minute little, you know, to really entice people, to show them. But that's more for people that really like events and really want to do something elaborate. Otherwise, the content is just a reading, eating and drinking, maybe a little game, maybe a trivia, and then talking about your book. So that's the content. It doesn't have to be in music. And then lastly, promotion. You want to promote everywhere. You know, let the libraries know, let the community centers know, do the press release, do other events on Facebook, Twitter, social media, wherever you can. Just let people know that I'm having an event. I had a really nice person design an invitation for me, and I sent that. I actually mailed that out. And I think that's how I got so many people. But one last important tip is that invite everyone that you feel comfortable inviting. And remember that if people are on time, like we were eating at a certain time, more towards the beginning of the event, and if the food ran out, the people that were on time got to eat. So the people that were late and kind of came at the end and straggled along, they didn't have any problem with it, because if they wanted to eat, then they probably should have been on time. So that just takes more pressure off of you. Don't be thinking about you have to have food to last the whole night through. And drinks. I didn't have any alcohol at my drink. I served at my party. I served one drink, which was Sprite with some sweet syrup to make it more fun and to give it a color. So, and my event was just, I think 5:30 to 7:30, 8 o'clock. And also leave time at the end of your event to sign books. That's the thing that takes the longest. If you have a lot of people, you want to make sure you have time to sign the books with them. So don't forget that. So I left about maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, because of how many people were there to sign books.
That's really great. I just muted you, Tracy, just to see if there was still an echo when I speak. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can still hear you.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so there might be some echo issues on your end, but we'll keep going. Laura has a question. How narrow a theme do you use to make your event?
Okay, so I really didn't have much of a theme. My theme, I use more like, when you say theme, do you mean color scheme, or like what's the focus? Because for me, it was just that people, have a good time. I did the skit, come meet me and come, get your book and get it signed. But I used theme very loosely. The theme was just, I used the color scheme that I used was more matching my book, blue and silver. But I want to clarify what you mean by theme. So drop me another note.
So I'm wondering, Laura says in the text, in the chat, focus or main idea. Like in your title of your book launch event, did you say like announcing such and such book by Tracy Lydia Garner? What did people know about why they were coming?
So I called it tapas and mocktails. So tapas are small plates and mocktails, because I don't drink. So it's like we would have some drinks, but they wouldn't be alcoholic. And please come celebrate the release of Tracy's new book on, that was it. It wasn't really involved. Just, help me celebrate my new book and come see me and come find out what the book is all about. So the only thing that I put on my card was, food, prizes, entertainment. It could be music, doesn't have to be live, and, things like that. So I let people know this is what would be going on, but it wasn't something that you wouldn't have at any other party. Entertainment, food, win prizes, maybe games. And, you do want to entice people a little bit, but people are just coming for the fun, and people are really curious. They just want to see, what's going on here? Let me see what's happening. And they'll come out just for that. Like, oh, okay. So, and they just like to be invited somewhere, somewhere.
Absolutely. Yeah, great. One moment. So Phoenix has a question about the theme, and so does Carol Ann. Would having a theme that matched your book be a bad idea? And Carol says, wouldn't the theme be your book's theme? Mm-hmm. So several questions about theme. So we'd love to hear what you think.
So the themes running through my book, I guess, when I think about themes, are more love, overcoming. I mean, I write romantic suspense, making it to the end, stuff like that. So, but the theme certainly can match your book. It's just that if you do something like that, you really want to, how do you demonstrate that? I guess is the question. How are you going to demonstrate that? I know some parties where people write historicals, and, the author dressed up in period, attire, the long dresses with the petticoats, and that's wonderful. That would be awesome. But just make sure that you convey what you want people to do in a way, like, do you care if people dress up? Probably shouldn't have them dress up, because that might be a turnoff. So really think about what you would have people do to participate in the theme and make sure that they feel comfortable. If everybody's going to dress up in petticoats and other things, where would they find that stuff Does it cost money? They just want to come to a free party sometimes and eat your food. But do you want to, how much work do you want to really do? I think it's okay if the host dresses up. I think that would be awesome. I know people that write horror stories, and they dress up in really like crazy things, zombies, and they wear the makeup, maybe a witch's hat and all black or something like that. But just make sure your themes are not offensive, don't require a lot of time and energy. And that you can feel comfortable. Like, I'm not sure I would, even if I wrote historicals, I don't know that I could wear all that stuff. Like, I have all these people present, but I'm wearing about 20 extra pounds of clothing, just to go with my theme. Now, granted, it's okay for 2 hours, 3 hours, but just think about, are you nervous already when you're out in front of people, and then adding this extra clothing, making you sweat profusely, So you just want to think about how much logistics is involved in what you want to do. And then what's the purpose? Is it to drive home the theme of your book because it's about historical romance? And does that really serve you well to do that?
Great. That's really wonderful. Phoenix has a question. Do you have books on hand for them to buy? Do you have them bring a book, or do you give a free book for them? So how do you handle the book logistics?
So I had prizes. I put together some little gift sets. That's what I gave away. I did about 5 gift bags. They were just simple things from like Five Below. I don't know if you guys have Five Below wherever you are, but like I gave someone like a plush neck pillow and a throw blanket, and that cost like $10. And I did 5 of those. It's called the Read and Relax basket, or Read and Relax gift pack. So I gave some of those out, but I did have books to sell. I mean, that was one of my goals. That's why I said I sold about 75 books, and I had about 100 books with me, because that I did want to do that as part of the party. If you don't want to do that, that's okay. I think that you really need to think about, if you give away books, really that costs a lot. I can't give away books all the time. So especially to that many people, I may give 1 or 2 away. And I think in the Read and Relax gift bag, I put in a free download for the book, for the ebook. So that is a cheaper way, $4.99 to give people. But I don't think people come expecting you to just bring so much stuff. It's a celebration for you. People should respect that, and not look at you as like, oh, what kind of stuff are we going to get?
Yeah. Great. That's really wonderful ideas. Kyla has a question.
Sure.
She said, Tracy, would you talk a little bit about how you time the event with the release of the book? Example, how many weeks after the book is in print do you have your party?
So I set my party up for March 22nd, 2015, and I really just worked backwards. My book actually came out in February, but for printing and stuff like you're saying, especially working with a print-on-demand publisher, I worked with BookBaby. I really wanted to give myself at least a 4-week cushion in case those books just did not come. I couldn't have all these people, and one of my goals from the party is to sell books and not have any books. That would just drive me crazy. One way around that, though, is to have order forms. And I still run out of books sometimes at events, but I have order forms, and I charge them a little bit more if they want the book mailed to them. So that's one way you could do that. But the time was just, I've been planning the event for a year. I have a timeline of what I will do, promotion and publicity, about 2 to 3 weeks for all the media outlets before the event. And then I probably the invitations probably went out 4 to 6 weeks before my event. So, I think you should just plan, when you really should have, but give yourself a cushion in case those books don't show up. And be careful about the winter months. I mean, we just had 40 inches here in Virginia. I'm in Virginia, right outside of DC. And, I would never have an event in January, February, and probably I had it in late March. So the winter wasn't very bad last year, but just be careful about and it's okay to have a spring party, even if your book comes out in February. Move your party to March or April. I don't think it's a big deal. People are ready to get out in the spring. They're starting to get out. And back to themes, you could have a beach party. Like, you could have little sand somewhere displayed on your table, and message in a bottle type thing, or ocean sounds. So, now that I've thought about theme, you know, you could think about that, like, you know, a summer party in winter or a winter party in summer. Cool thoughts.
That's really great. And by the way, this is Leo, who's come to join the party. He likes to join in on presentations and calls and chats and stuff. Laura has a question. She said, have you had party crashers, as some weddings do?
Mm-hmm. I haven't. I've been very fortunate. The events I've had, I haven't had party crashers. I did have some people come in during the skit, and I was really annoyed by that. And I also had people, I needed extra chairs. So the skit was going on. People have to kind of stand up in the back and just wait to get a seat. And, you know, that's just the cost of, I guess, being late. But not really. I've just had really people that are really tardy, or some people that didn't RSVP, or people that RSVP and then don't show up. But those things I just kind of let go and just say be a good party goer, you know, always RSVP. Remember that somebody's paying for food and their time, and they need enough chairs and enough food and other things. I also had a little playbill that I put together. It was like a program for my party, but it looked like, my graphic designer made it look like a playbill, like you get at a play when you go. So I want to make sure I print enough of those for everybody to take. It was the coolest thing. So just little things like that, but never had major party crashes.
Great. Really good tips on planning. So Kyla produces anthologies, and she had a question. What about anthologies? What would you do differently for a party that had multiple authors versus just one author?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, a multiple author event would be something good like this, like maybe to have all of us on camera talking about the book. You could have a little noisemaker where you would wave it and it'd be time to give away a gift. Anthologies are hard if you're all spread out, but even if, say, 2 of you are in the same area, get together with that person and do an anthology. I wanted to do, I remember when my first book came out with the 4 writers in their 20s offering stories about life and love, I called one of them and they didn't want to do an event with me. They were like, I don't know how to market. I was like, I don't know either. It's my first book. But I was really perturbed that she wouldn't come across the Woodrow Wilson Bridge to come and, you know, let's sign some books together. Let's get double for our trouble, because 2 authors, there's 4 total. But I think it's okay if a couple of you live in the same area and you're willing to do it. You know, it's better than just one person. It's better than whoever you can get, if you can get together. But also think about doing Skype parties and Facebook parties. And now that you have Blab and Periscope, you know, do those kinds of parties too. So you can do, you know, people are doing lots of live events online too. And I'll be doing a live event on Facebook for my second book, because I had such a big party last year. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to make the ask again to people to come out. So I'm just going to take it online.
That's such a great idea. And I've run Facebook parties for a few years, and I host them myself for my own work. And it's so much fun to gather together a bunch of authors, and it's the collective power of marketing to get the word out for that. So, and
the other thing that you can do is also, you don't have to have just the authors in the anthology. For a Facebook party, more is better. So if you have other people that write in the same vein as you write, have them come by and just say hi, maybe do a giveaway. They can talk, you know, they don't have to be a part of your anthology to join in the fun and to draw their readers to come to see what you offer and maybe gain some new fans.
Absolutely. I'll put a link in a moment to my Facebook party, as well as to an article I wrote on how to run Facebook parties. Carol has a question. Let's see if I can see the whole thing. Okay, here we go. Yeah, my historicals are Pulp Fiction detectives and dames set in 1950s LA, mostly involving boxing. So would you have characters dressed in period costume?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I would have characters dressed in period costumes. What I would try to do, because it's detectives and it's also boxing, I would see if I could find a couple good looking guys to put on some Rocky Balboa shorts or something and some boxing gloves to, you know, to kind of depict that. And then people would like to come and take pictures with them probably. Or even if you could find some things where they could try on things, things that they don't get dirty, that you don't have to return. But if people could dress up and just put on something, for the time being, maybe a headpiece, maybe some gloves. I'm not really sure about the Pulp Fiction period, but in the dames, but find those period pieces that are relatively easy to put on. And then you could have maybe a photographer come and just take some pictures. People love pictures, maybe do Polaroids, maybe even, I think there's something you can use to get black and white photos. And maybe somebody has a really old car. You never know. And one of those fake guns with the round barrel from the 1950s, I think, kind of Bonnie and Clyde type of thing. So think about that. That would make it really interactive. And people would be like, wow, this is so fun. Let me try on this stuff. Let me take a picture. And then they also have, something that they can take with them as far as the Polaroid goes. But you could put all the pictures online and they could all have access to them and they could just print them themselves. So that's another thing. I've known photographers that they put all the pictures online and you could buy all the prints for as little as $6. So $6 a print or $4. So think about what you could do to make it really interactive. And the other thing I would also make sure that you do, because it's a period that people don't know about, have some fun facts. Some things that make people more engaged to learn about, like, I didn't know that. Like, I'm planning, I have to talk quietly because they might hear me. I'm planning a 65th birthday party for someone. And, I'm going to list how much things cost in 1951. What is interesting that people want to know? Bread was like 40 cents probably. It's just crazy. And people be like, wow. Man, I'm old. I'm kidding. But these things make it more fun. You give people knowledge too, fun knowledge, and then they can feel more a part of the whole experience.
Those are such great ideas. People have been popping in some ideas into the chat. That's so great. Laura has some questions for you. She had two questions. One is, do you belong to any sort of writing support group? And then the second is, how far apart has it been between your releases?
It has been a long time between my releases, and that's why I felt the need for a launch party, because my last book came out 7 years ago, between 2007 and then 2015, 8 years. So I'm not a fast writer. I didn't say in my bio, but I have a full-time job. I do social work 9 to 5 every single day. And I also teach a class at the community college. So it has been a long time between releases. I'm trying to mitigate that this time, like having the next book come out, a year later, but I'm not a fast writer. I never have been. And sometimes I'm so busy thinking of events, it's a no wonder I can't write very fast, because I love event planning so much. I'm always conjuring up the next opportunity to have something. So I don't belong to any writing support groups, because I'm teaching at night for 8 weeks. I do 3 8-week courses in the course of a year. So spring, summer, and fall, I'll do an 8-week course on writing the novel. So I did used to belong to groups way back when. What I found was that groups aren't for everyone, only because I was the only one published. And I think that that's really hard. You need to find support groups that everybody's kind of almost, the person shouldn't have like 5, 6 books out, maybe 1 or 2. But it's weird because people may always be looking to that published person for the bulk of the ideas and the bulk of the information. And that can get kind of stressful. So make sure that everybody's kind of on the same, not that you all need to have the same knowledge, because you should enlarge your territory as far as who you hang out with. But, just make sure that that it's even, and that, just like you wouldn't necessarily have someone that only reads historicals read, a suspense. You want people that everybody's in kind of the same vein, so the interaction and the time can be richer.
That's really great, Tracy. I just want to pause for a moment, and anybody who's coming in late, just to have a little station identification so everyone knows who we are. I'm Beth Barani. I'm a writing coach and novelist. I work full-time to help dedicated novelists craft successful and sustainable careers. And I do that through my courses and through my weekly live chat here that's free. I have also webinars coming up. In fact, I have a webinar coming up this next Tuesday. I'm just copying the link here on how to sell books on Amazon by the truckload. So everyone's welcome to sign up for that. That'll be a free event. Yeah, Phoenix, I think you're signed up for that. And just to remind everyone, both Tracy and I are giving away a prize at the end of the hour, at the top of the hour. I will be giving away either a digital edition of Twitter for Authors, Social Book Media Strategies for Shy Writers, or a digital edition of my latest romance, A Cupcake Christmas, 5th in my Touchstone series. And Tracy will be giving away a $15 Amazon gift card.
Yep.
Great. Yay.
Yeah.
And because of some weirdness, I have to mute Tracy when I speak, so there won't be a weird echo. And I do want to call attention, if you guys want to get notified every week when I do my blab chat, then all you need to do is subscribe to at Writers Fun Zone, and there's the link in the chat. And Carol's says, love Cupcake Christmas. Yes, Carol's one of my early readers. That was so awesome. And Phoenix said, ooh, me want. And speaking of Phoenix, Phoenix has a question back to the timing of when to have a party. Is it better to have your party before or after the book is released, or does it matter? And I just want to say before I give you back the mic, Tracy, that Tracy Garner is my guest this week. She loves, loves, loves putting on events. And I heard, she told us earlier today, that she is producing a book on how to produce events and has done a lot of book live events and online events to celebrate the release of her books. Mm-hmm. So, and you can find her at tgarner.com. So go ahead, Tracy.
Sure. So just correction, I haven't done that many books, many events online as I have done live events, because I just like them better. If you are going to do online events, one thing I'm telling you that I'm going to get that's going to be probably my savior is someone to help moderate all the things that go on. So just don't try to do online events by yourself unless it's a small group and you're not really moderating, having to take questions and give away things. But get a friend, someone that can help you moderate what's going on and make sure you keep the questions. Kind of like Beth is doing here now, because I don't see all the questions that come up, and she's just reminding me and helping to facilitate that. So you need that when you do online events too. And when you do live events, you have your team of people that help you plan. So I think, is it better to have your party before or after the book is released? I'm not sure that it matters. I think that one important question is, if you don't have any books, and depending on the length of time between when your book is available and when you have your event, will people be disappointed? Will they run out and look for the book and say, oh, it's not there, and then forget about it? So just be careful. I mean, I don't know. I think you can have a pre-launch event if you're giving people something, like, let's say you have your own secret stash of books, and only if you come to the party do you get them. You know, that's awesome, right? People feel like they're getting something of value. They feel like they're getting something before everybody else, kind of like street teams. When you have a street team, you give them little stuff. You still give everybody else the same stuff, but you give them the stuff before anybody else can get it. So there's perceived like, I got it early and I've already finished reading it. It was excellent. Now go online and write a review. Anyway, so you just want to be careful. Like, why would you, what do you need to have? Make sure that people can get access to it, and make sure that, it's all there. And the other thing is that if people come to your event and you don't know, make sure you have a way for them to sign up, so you can get in contact with them and let them know, hey, the book's out. I really need you to go and buy it. But I almost feel like if you don't have the books, it's kind of anticlimactic. It's like, well, what am I here for? I want the book. Gosh darn it, give me the book. So where's the book? Well, I don't understand where the book is. So just be careful about, what is the call to action after the party is over? And will the book be really immediately available? Like, I left the party, that was so great. I saw a little info about it. The other thing I did at my party I forgot to mention was I showed my book trailer. I kind of unveiled it. I didn't put it online until I had shown it at the launch party first. So people were like, wow. So I'll share a link for my launch, for my Anchored Hearts book trailer, which is on YouTube. And I'll put that in the box in a second. So back to the question, just really think, about what you want to, what you want to do, and to make sure that nothing happens where people would be like, oh, that was great. Man, I don't have a book and I'm bored. That was disappointing. So just be careful about that.
I would totally agree with you, Tracy, that really if you're going to do a launch party that you really do for your book, that you really do want to have book on hand. Absolutely. Unless there's a really strong reason. I know some people have done things where they'll take pre-orders, and it's a way to build capital to launch their book. But yeah, I think everyone should. The whole point of the party is to celebrate your book, so have physical books on hand. Great, and thanks for sharing that YouTube link for your Anchored Hearts trailer. So, and I just want to say, let's see, Phoenix mentioned that there is a small online site. She says, if you need a small group of 1 to 8 people, that's private also, you can use this site for free called appear.in. So I don't know anything about that. It's something people can check out. And I think Phoenix has a question. This was back to budget that we touched on earlier, and I'll unmute you in a second, Tracy. She says, obviously you don't want to make the party or the invites look cheap, but would you suggest spending more on the higher side or cheaper but classy? So I guess this is all about budgeting for your party.
I think that whatever your money situation is, you should decide on the final product is what you want to look the best. You can use free invitations, free like Evite. I would use something more like Eventbrite because it looks more like, wow, this is something you really want me to respond to. And through Eventbrite, you can get more information. Like people have to actually go in and fill out fields as far as their name, address, phone number. You set the fields up. You don't want to get all their information in a vial of blood, but you want to make sure that you get more information than just, their email. And so I think that you can still make things look classy. 2 places I love are Oriental Trading. You can get so much great stuff there. And Smarty Had a Party. Smarty Had a Party is a little known place, kind of like it's a party planning site where you get lots of stuff and their prices are awesome. So they have beautiful things there that are really cheap in bulk. And also, I borrowed somebody's Costco membership for one of my events, a couple years ago, just to get live flowers. I got like 120 stems for like $100. At Costco, you can buy the flowers. I actually like cutting the flowers and doing all that. But even if you don't, you can have little, vases of flowers here and there, real flowers. And I also, at my launch party in March last year, I used paper flowers. And I'm going to share a link. I have a 4-part series on planning your launch event on my blog. So I published that last year on my blog, and it's there, and I'll share a link for that too. But I think that no matter what, you don't want to be cheap or chinchy. You just want to come off elegantly and classy. And remember that elegance and classiness also goes into wording. It goes into wording, what you put on your invitations, what you put on your website. So take time to really craft the right messages, and make sure that you are doing everything that looks good. So I think it comes across more than just what you spent. I think it comes across in how you phrase things and how you make it seem, as if I said, I'm just going to have a little party. I'm just going to throw some things together. It's going to be great. As opposed to, I hope you'll come to my launch party bash that I'm going to have. And my event was at a hotel, the Crown Plaza, a hotel here in Virginia. And, I feel like if people know you and know what kind of caliber person you are, that's really what's going to tell them if this is classy or not. So if they don't think it's classy, it's not always about your final product. It's about, you as a person too, sometimes, not all the time.
And if you could type in the chat, Phoenix is asking the Smarty something, the Smarty store. Let's see, we have another question. This one is about your YouTube video. She wants to know where you got your music for your trailer for Anchored Hearts.
So my friend, I go on musicloops.com. I'll put that in the thing.com. There's others too. But my friend actually did my trailer. And that's the one thing, I'm glad you asked that question, because bartering is such a lost art. Okay, we need to get back to a bartering system where you have something that somebody needs and they have something that you need. And in order to get those things exchanged, you're willing to offer, what you need. So I publish books. My friend wants to publish. She actually works for the government and she hasn't published any books, but she did the book trailer for me for free, so long as I read her work and give her feedback on it. That's worth more to her than anything. There's Circle of Seven Productions, but their book trailers are very expensive, almost like about $700. So, there's also other free apps and things like Animoto that you can use through YouTube to remember, a book trailer is nothing but pictures and music all stringed together with some words. So if you can find the pictures on the stock photography sites and the music on musicloops.com, you can get, I think the loop was only 20 seconds, well, 2 minutes. You can buy that for as little as $30. But musicloops.com has a wonderful selection and they have different sounds. And you can even go to the library. Libraries have music loops and things that you can buy on or you can check out and use, just check the copyright licenses and stuff. But, if you hear something that you like, I love just listening to music loops just for listening. I'm not even building a trailer right now, but they have some great loops and I bookmark them and I put them in a Word document so I can refer to them later.
That's so great. I hadn't heard of music loops. I'm definitely going to check that out. We have a question that came in through email this morning before our blab. It's from Deanne, and she said, as a new author with limited free time, what would you recommend to focus on the most that will help with marketing my book? Facebook party, queries to book bloggers, something else? And I definitely have an opinion. I would like to share, but I would love to hear your thoughts on this. And I will unmute you. There we go.
I think that the most important part is just to really have a good book. I think reviews can help, but I will say that you shouldn't expend a lot of energy and a lot of time sending, free copies to people. But I think writing a good book and then coming out, one thing I regret about my own career is just not writing fast enough. You have to keep those books coming out, and that is what really builds your audience. So, I do recommend, I think that for your first book, you should always have a launch party, of course. It's your first thing. You want to celebrate. It could really give you some extra momentum. It's exciting. It's an accomplishment, but you can have a Facebook party. I would say with a Facebook party, though, sometimes you don't have the audience that you need to have a really good one. So with a first book, it can be really tough to get those people unless you know a lot of great authors that have a lot of reach. So even for me, having 5 books, Facebook parties are still going to be difficult because I haven't really taken the time to really build that aspect up. But 100 people to my live event, hey, that's no problem for me. So you really have to see where your strengths are.
I think that's such a great point, Tracy, about to see where your strengths are and to take into account where you are in the cycle, if it's your first book or further on down the road. And I'm not really sure about Deanne, where she is in her process. Maybe this is her first book. And I think it is really important to celebrate your first book and to have some kind of event. My husband, actually, for his first book, we had a gathering here at our apartment. And that was, it was just like, our apartment can really only hold 12 people. And so that's how many people we had. And he gave a reading and we had snacks and he did like a demonstration that was about some fun aspect of his book that involved science and probability. He did a card trick, it was really wonderful. So it doesn't have to be huge. And then in terms of Facebook party, we've talked a lot about that today, and there's some links in the chat about how to run a Facebook party. I think if you have friends already and you've been building a community, that it's great to run a Facebook party and have other authors be part of that party. So they're giving away prizes during the time and they're inviting their friends. So it's not all about you. Although some authors I know have done, I have a friend who did a launch party and he released short videos during the time frame. It was like 4 hours. and short little videos of little shares about his process. And it was a nonfiction book. And for him, that worked really well. He didn't want to have guests because that was like beyond his organizational ability at that time. And then lastly, how do you get, should authors spend their time querying book bloggers? Actually, I think that is a really good use of your time, especially if you don't have a budget, because it's free. And I don't give books away. I actually ask people if they want books. Sorry, I'm just dealing with a spammer here. Sorry about that, you guys.
No, I was looking, I don't know how to
I can delete
that.
spammers. Sorry, this is really.
This is my first live blast, so I don't know. I was trying to block them, but I don't know how to.
I can.
Okay.
I'm master here.
There you go.
There we go. So Lab is public, everyone. So, but I get to run things. So yeah, how to get book reviews. I just put that link into the chat. I wrote a long article about it, and I'll be teaching a class in March on this, a short 2-week class on how to set up your own book review campaign, which basically means finding book bloggers who love to read what you write, querying them, so writing them a short letter, and then sending them your digital book. And how do you set all that up? And then how do you run it in a way that works for you? You could do it ongoingly. You could do it that culminates in a party. There's a lot of ways to do it. So I'll be talking about that. And I think I have gotten all the reviews I have online, I would say 90% come from me asking book bloggers to actually review my books. So let's see. All right. And we have a question. Now I'm going to unmute you in a second, Tracy. Carol Ann asks, would it still work well with book number 4? And I'm assuming you mean an event, Carol. I would say yes. What would you say, Tracy?
I would say it depends. Because I had such a good event in March, and it is a year later. So, you could take your chances, but you also want to be careful not to wear out your welcome. Like, that's the only thing I would worry about is like, I don't want people to groan and be like, oh, she's having another event. Oh my God, I have to go to this one too. But I think a smaller event would be good. And I'll tell you, I wrote down, and this is what I believe about manifesting, that you write down manifesting, because I write everything down. I'm a writer, obviously, but I wrote goals. I wrote that I was going to do 2 live events for Anchored Hearts. And, I put it away and I forgot about it. And I just remembered probably just earlier this month that I really did do 2 events. What happened was my former boss, who has a wonderful condo place, he had an event he has a place in a place called Arlington, and he offered the room to me for free. And he actually paid the deposit. There was a deposit, like $300. But so what I did was I invited another author who had a book coming out, and this was in April. So I had my one event in March, and I ended up having a second event, and it was almost 45 minutes away from where I had the first event. So those 2 things I would think about. I would think about having the event in another location. Like, I wouldn't have an event in the same place. As much as I love that hotel and I've had a lot of events there, I would have it at a different place, maybe go like an hour to 90 minutes away, because I reached everybody that came to the March 22nd party didn't come to the April party. And I also had mostly her friends too. So it was a way for me to get exposure, because her friends actually bought my book too. That wasn't my goal. I just love events. I was like, oh, I got free space. Let's have an event. Come on, people. So that was fun to me. But because it was so far apart, I reached a whole different set of people. She lived in, Alexandria. I live in Sterling. Not that means anything to anybody who's not from here, but 45 minutes to an hour away from each other, 2 separate spots, and just different people from each one. So I think that if you can have it in a different place, maybe invite another author along with you. And you don't even have to have an author. How about somebody who has a new single on iTunes or something? I have friends that are artists. I have friends in the church who like to release CDs. Have them come and sing. And maybe, you also give them exposure. Have a poet, come and read. One of my other friends had an event, and he did like this lovely little song about his book and about the writing process. He sounded like Kermit the Frog. It was so cute. You know, and I just loved it. And I thought, wow, that was awesome. As I was thinking, and this was before my event, I was thinking about what I'm going to do as far as content. So, you know, invite other people along. Don't just be just for you. Of course, the March event was just me. But, you know, because I had the second event, I was like, wow, I got to invite somebody else. So how about I do this? How about I not make it just about me and do something different? And that really helped. I still, you know, benefited from inviting other people, and I met new people that I wouldn't have met if I hadn't invited her.
That's so great. And David has a good question. He says, does an event need to be in a fairly private place? I like coffee shops, wondering if that could work also. And I would say, sure, if it's a lovely environment.
Yeah, I love the coffee shop. I love any kind of shop. If you know someone who owns something or works somewhere, I think that you can make it fun wherever. Coffee shops, people are doing things at salons now, especially in my community, in the African-American community. Salons are an awesome place to reach my target market, which is, you know, women that, you know, they're getting their hair done. They're sitting there reading something often. Ask someone to open the shop up for a little, you know, wine and cheese. Or for me, Coke and cheese. But anyway, so, you know, think about unconventional places, because it's free. You're going to get new people. I don't think it has to be private or public. Just be careful about when you start spreading the word, how many people are you really inviting and how many people RSVP, and make sure that the venue can hold that capacity, because you don't want a fire hazard. You don't want the police coming saying there's too many people in here. Y'all need to leave now. So that would be a bust. That would be a wedding crasher type thing that somebody was asking about earlier.
That's really good point, to be aware of the capacity of the place. That's great. So yeah, Dave, go for it. And I love your idea of having parties in two kind of distant locations, somewhat distant. Like I live here on the east side of San Francisco, so I could have a party here in like in Oakland or Berkeley, and then say had another party in San Francisco or in the North Bay. That way people don't have to drive an hour, although a lot of people do. So Phoenix has a question, a little tangential. I have some thoughts on this, Phoenix, but let's ask Tracy. What is the best way to get into the book reviewing industry?
Well, I feel like book reviewing industry is maybe an oxymoron. I feel like that's quite the right word. It's something that people do, and people that, if you want to be like a critic, you mean like for a newspaper or a publication, that's one thing. But actually Facebook just has a new group that I joined the other day where everybody on there is looking for reviews. You post what you write, and if you have a book that you're willing to share with others, and the people that are on the Facebook, they come in and say, yes, I'd love to read that, and then go and talk offline, I guess, about how to coordinate getting that book. But, you know, start your own little something where you start going online and reviewing different things, and, you know, choosing a way to start getting yourself out there as far as reviewing things. But also make sure that you are not reviewing everything, because then people will feel like you're an authority on nothing. You know, Jackie of all trades, master of none. So really find your niche as far as where you want to review. You want to review mostly romantic novels, any kind of romance, or do you want to do, you know, movies or thrillers? You know, just really hone in, because you're probably likely, even if you like to read everything, still you lean towards reading one thing more than other stuff. So that's my 2 cents.
That's great, Tracy. I so agree. And thanks for mentioning the Facebook groups. And Carol Ann belongs to several Facebook review groups. Maybe you guys can put those groups into the chat. We have about 5 more minutes left, so I want to address this question, and then we'll pick our winners. So Phoenix, if you want to become a book reviewer, there's a whole group of them. They call themselves book bloggers. They just decide that they're going to review books. And like Tracy says, you want to decide what is your specialty. And it can be a few different things. And you can also say what you don't review. And just search book bloggers both on Twitter. There's a lot on Twitter. In fact, if you go to my account on Twitter, I've been collecting a lot of them. I have over 200 book reviewers and book bloggers on my list, and I'll put that list in the chat. It's quite a phenomenal and supportive community where they actually huddle together in groups to support each other on how to run a book review blog. So book bloggers is the term for that. Thanks, Carol, for putting in those links. And I'll find that list for you guys. I teach, like I said, when I teach my How to Get Book Reviews class, I teach how to reach these book bloggers. And then when you go to their site, you'll see that they band together in communities. They often have badges and things like that. It's really cool. Yes, and Laura mentions you can also join specific book platforms like NetGalley and Story Cartel, where you agree to review books through those platforms. I honestly don't know how they work, but I see a lot of bloggers go there. And authors pay to have their books in those two locations. So usually you're getting authors who are really serious about getting their books reviewed and are pretty organized. So here on the chat is my Twitter list of a lot of different book bloggers, both so authors can use it to look through and see if these bloggers review the kind of book they have. So
I was great. One more thing too. Just that, if you're going to start out being a reviewer, you're really going to have to also want to build traction. Like if I would have my book and I want to send it to a blogger and a reviewer that has, a pretty good amount of followers, not just 10 to 15, because the greater your reach is, the greater my reach will be. So I know starting out, of course, you're going to be able to get people to review, but you also want to make sure that people are going to want to know, well, how many followers do you have? How many reviews have you written? And also, I'm going to want to know, can you craft a good review? Like, even if you didn't like my book, could you tell me in a way that's kind of somewhat upbeat, and nice? You can say that you didn't like it, but can you say it in a way that is still classy and still friendly? And I was just going to say to Carol Ann that she mentioned that this would be her first event for the 4th book in the series. And I think that is awesome too, because guess what? You have 4 books that you can sell. So, if you have all the books in the series, you can promote the 4th book. Where people are like, I haven't read any, where do I start? You could be like, here, you have a lot of reading to do. And if they want to buy all 4, hey, go for it. Who cares? Even if it's a 10 book. Remember that everybody that's reading books in a series, which do really well, they'll jump in the series and you'll jump in a movie at number 3 or 4, and you'll be like, wow, that was so good. And guess what? You're going to go back and read all of them. So cha-ching for you, Carol Ann. Don't worry about it.
That's so great. So let's pick our winner. So the way this works is we have 11 people here live with us, and go ahead and pick a number between 1 and 11, and we'll pick your winner. And I can see who they all are, and I remember who asked questions, which is most everyone here. So that's great. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Do I just say the number out loud?
Yeah, just go ahead and pick a number.
I'm going to pick number 2.
1, 2. Carol Ann. All right. So Carol, go ahead and email Carol Ann's email, and I have your email. So I'll put you two together. So Tracy, you can go ahead and send her prize. Yay, congratulations, Carol. Great, go ahead and pick another number between 1 and 11, and I will pick another winner for one of my books.
Okay, 8.
8. That is Laura. Laura is working. LJ Works Online. Yay, Laura. So Laura, be sure to email me. I'm pretty sure I have your email. Sorry, there we go. And Laura, yay. And Laura says, I need the Twitter book. Awesome. So Laura, if you could email me, actually, here's my email, bethbarani@gmail.com. And I will send you the link to the Dropbox folder so you can grab the digital edition that you would like. So Tracy, thank you so much for being my guest. I feel like I definitely would like to have you back to talk more about either this topic of events, because it looks like we have a lot of great questions. We could also talk about other specific things next time. And everyone, please do check out Tracy's site, tgarner.com. And she has a
to the 4-part series.
Great.
It's like a mini book. It's really long, but you can plan your event if you just read my 4-part series. You'll be fine.
Excellent. And we'll make sure we put that in the show notes as well. And that will go up tomorrow for everyone who's subscribed. You'll be able to grab it from the archives, or you can get it when it goes up as a blog post. So thank you everyone so much. If you want to subscribe to the Blab Chats, they're weekly, Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Next week, we're going to have PJ Sharon, who's going to talk to us about ergonomics and health for being healthy writers. Kyla, thank you so much for stopping by. Phoenix, I'm really glad that you're here. Tracy, you have to come back. This was really fun, I think, and good luck with your next book coming. Keep me posted, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, everyone. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.